Let's talk Orioles. I've not heard anything yet on the hot stove as of now. So we're still kind of waiting. Baseball, where football, everything kind of happens all at once. Basketball, even in short period. Baseball kind of drags it out. Nothing really is going to happen until Soto and Burns sign. So once that happens, then you'll see the other dominoes start to fall because once they've actually signed, and as of this recording, they haven't really signed anywhere yet. So once they actually sign, then we'll go ahead and be able to get that taken care of. All right, so let's go ahead. The depth chart. So preface that, and it's also a preface to this, because we don't know yet exactly. Stop, dog. I don't know if you can hear the dog or not. Dog's going crazy in the background. But you preface this in the background. We don't know yet what it's going to look like. We don't know who they're going to sign, who they're going to bring in, who they're going to start. But we're doing this as if the season started on November 21st. So if we're starting it today, what does it look like? Okay, so let's go ahead and get this. The catcher, Adley Rutschman. Obviously, he's going to be the franchise catcher for the Orioles for going forward. He's one of their best players. No. All right. Sorry about that. Dog was just making all that noise. Good country. All right. So Adley is going to go ahead and start. Are they going to get an extension done for Adley in the offseason? That's the key. Is it going to happen? If we finally get it. A lot of the stuff reading, hearing that they're going to spend money. They're in on Max Fried, etc. But the Adley extension, the Gunnar extension, I think is huge. I think that's the start to actually getting a guy for multiple years as well. Rene Pinto, guy played for the Rays the last few years. Played for the Tampa Bay Rays the last few years. They picked him up on waivers. So right now he's your backup catcher. Interesting to see what happens with Sam Basayo as well. That's going to be an X factor here as well. I'm interested to see if you keep him in AAA. You're going to use him as a trade piece. Are you going to bring him up? Or what's going to happen? Are you going to sit him on the bench? My guess is he starts in Norfolk, even though I believe he's probably ready. But they're not going to rush it, I don't think, as well. There is a chance he stays in Norfolk all year for a lot of the year. Because they have to figure that out. And does he stay at catcher, not first, as well? Here's at first. Mountie, them moving the fences back, I thought about Mountie right away. They're moving the fences in Camden Yards up a little bit. The guy who I think with the loss of that, who was most affected, was Ryan Mountcastle. Power was down. So that maybe tells me that they're interested in keeping Mountie around because he was the guy that was the most affected by the fact that with the fences. So I don't know if that was a coincidence or not. We'll find that out. Emmanuel Rivera was on the roster last year. Utility guy. He's still there as well at first base. I think he'll be a backup first or third as of now. I think he'll certainly be in the competition for it. They bring anybody else in. Ryan O'Hearn, they picked up the option. He's going to DH again. I think you're going to see a lot of what you saw last year from Ryan O'Hearn this year. I think he may have some more competition for the spot. Is Jackson Holliday going to start at second? That's another one. Differing opinions on this, I do think so. I do think Jackson is going to be given every opportunity to start at second base at the start of the year. I'd be surprised if anything else happened. There is a possibility of him getting sent down, I think, if he's not good in spring. I think this will be legitimately where he needs to be good in spring and look at him, and they're going to be tracking his progress in the offseason and to see. But I do think it'll be there. Ramon Urias, I don't think they're getting rid of him. I think they're kind of like I see their philosophy is to be non-committal, as silly as that sounds, but they kind of don't want to commit to anything, so they kind of keep guys like O'Hearn and things like that. It's they don't want, if they get rid of him, then they have to put, they'd rather just let it play out naturally and have 5 guys or 3 guys in the spot as well. But I think Urias, who I think will be there. You're going to see his name in a couple spots. Third base, I think Jordan Westburg absolutely has earned it. I think he's absolutely earned it, the starting job at third base. I think Urias, I think, factors in. Kobe Mayo, I don't know what they're going to do with him either. I think in the long term, they want Kobe Mayo to play third base. But I don't think he's very good at third base. I think he really needs to work on his defense as good as he has shown in the minors on offense. I think his work. I'm not worried about his hitting. He didn't hit very well when he started up last year. I'm not worried about that. I think he'll get that right. I think Basayo and Mayo factor in 2025. I'm kind of thinking they're going to start at Norfolk. I don't think there's a spot, especially with it not being an obvious spot for them. So I think they're just going to give the speech of, hey, we're going to wait, and play out. We got, see if they can get a trade or something. I do think Mayo definitely factors into their future plans a lot. I do think I think at least at one point they want Mayo to start at third base. Gunnar, are you going to get the extension done here? Gunnar, I think, is going to be one of the franchise players going forward, one of the best players in the American League. I don't love him as short. I wish they would move him to third, but they're not going to do that. If Gunnar wants to play short, they're not going to do that. I think he does need to do some work there. That's it. Jorge Mateo I think is on the roster as well. I think if he's healthy enough to play, I think he had an injury last year, questioning and worrying about that. But I think that's simple enough. Colton Cowser is going to start in left field for the Orioles. I think Colton is an outstanding player. I think he kind of got jerked out of Rookie of the Year. I really think it was Yankee bias. I think more people know the Yankees, Luis Gil, etc. It was super close anyway. I mean, he lost it by, the hair of the chin. Doesn't take away from what he did on the field. I thought he was terrific. Took it right from Austin Hayes. Really kind of undefined as a role. Not shot though. Hits for power for all fields. Just got to bring his average up. He's going to be a left fielder next year. Cedric Mullins is going to start in center. Cedric, I think there was a chance. They might have moved on from Cedric. I think the second half of the year did save him. I think he was really good at the end of last year. He's one of the best, really one of the better offensive players again towards the end, for whatever that's worth. Even when they were struggling, Cedric really kind of pulled himself up, and he's terrific defensively. Terrific center fielder in the field. That has not changed as well. Daz Cameron was picked up from the Sacramento, Oakland, whatever they want to call themselves, Athletics. I could see him as a backup. I think that's a little too early to tell. I think he was a body they picked up. Him and Pinto, we don't know yet. They don't know what they're going to do as far as spring training. They'll bring up guys. But that's the name there right now. I think he might have a role. Heston Kjerstad is the presumptive guy in right field. I think they are going to look at somebody in this spot. I think Tusker Hernandez is possible. I think Jerkerson Profar is possible. I think they're going to look at guys in the outfield. I do. I think it is possible, though, they could stand pat. I think if they do stand pat and they say, well, this guy's too expensive or whatever, do we want to make a commitment? Michael Elias said they're looking at outfielders. I got to think this is what they're doing it for. I think Kjerstad is ready, though. Kjerstad, I think, is ready to play every day. I think he's kind of showed it towards the end of last year. He is going to be your starter in right. Rotation. Zach Eflin, Grayson Rodriguez, Dean Kramer, Albert Suarez, Cade Povich, Trevor Rogers. Cam Bryce reported that they are the favorites for getting Burns, along with the Dodgers. I hope they're right. I'm kind of thinking that he wouldn't sign with the Orioles. I think they would. I was thinking maybe they would get outbid, but they're bidding. So I think that's good. If you can get, obviously, Burns is your number one start if he gets them back. But I think your rotation is pretty decent as well. I do think in lieu of that, I prepared this because he has not signed with that. I think Povich and Trevor Rogers, I think, are probably fifth candidates as well if you don't sign him. Suarez, I think he's earned a spot. I'd be surprised if I didn't see him at least in the rotation mix for the fourth starter. I think he's earned it. I think definitely you got to look at that as well. Bullpen, I think, is more set than what people think it is. I think with the picking up of Sir Anthony Dominguez as option, Batista in the ninth, Dominguez in the eighth, Cano in the seventh. That's the way it's going to go. I think you may pick up somebody. Canelo Perez is there. Webb is there. Keegan Aiken, Greg Soto, Brant Baker. I think those are options as well. There's your order as well. I do think if they can pick up a Clay Holmes, if they can pick up a tennis, if they can pick up somebody that's really going to help them, I think they'll do it. I think teams are always looking to add to their bullpen, but I think they feel this is the way it's going to go, and I think this is the way it's going to go. We just got to get Felix Batista back healthy again. There you go. All right, so.